don't know. He may have had a plane. Good afternoon. This is really a very happy afternoon for us because the House just passed legislation that has a direct relationship to the strength of our communities, the education of our children, the safety of our neighborhoods, the stability of the economy of our states, and really points directly to our prospects for the future. We voted to keep over 300,000 teachers, police officers, firefighters, and private sector workers on the job. Members of Congress rushed here today. As soon as we heard that there was a prospect that the Senate might be able to pass this legislation last week, word went out, members were here in full force to press a button in support of those hundreds of thousands of jobs. We passed the bill last December. We passed it again in the spring. Oh, there you are, Mr. Chairman. And we were pleased that the Senate finally took the action that they did. This legislation was necessary not just from a legislative standpoint, but because we heard from Americans like those who join us here today. Kathy Johnson, a school board member from Columbus, Ohio, who knows the impact this investment will have on the education of the next generation of teachers. Loris Welsh from Perth Amboy, where's Loris? There she is. From Perth Amboy, New Jersey. She has worked on behalf of the children of the education of our children for 24 years and understands the heartbreaking impact this economy has had on teachers and students. Stella Edwards. Stella, raise your hands so everybody sees you. Stella Edwards, president of the Chesterfield, Virginia County Council of PTAs, and a powerful voice on behalf of keeping America's teachers in their classrooms. I know there are many PTA families here. If you can all wave so we can acknowledge the presence of some of our PTA families here today. Thank you. Some in the audience. Hello. Officer Dave Stokes of the Annapolis Police Department, who understands what this investment will mean to the safety of our communities. And we are joined here today by children, our nation's future leaders and our innovators, their most eloquent example of what we need to act. President Kennedy called them our greatest resource and our best hope for the future. I'd like to thank all of the advocates for children and their families who are here today. And why don't you give yourselves a nice round of applause. Today, again, we will create over 300,000 jobs or save them, not just any jobs, but jobs that are the most significant in our country. Sense of community that our teachers, our police and firefighters, our healthcare workers bring, and we will do it in a fiscally responsible way by closing costly tax loopholes that allow corporations to ship American jobs overseas. This is part of what our distinguished Majority Leader, Mr. Hoyer, calls our Make It in America agenda. Make it, manufacture it in America, and make it so people can make it on their own in America. And we believe that repealing that provision that enables businesses to ship jobs overseas is a very important step in that direction. I acknowledge Mr. Hoyer, a distinguished Majority Leader, the two chairmen who brought the bill to the floor today. Lead off Chairman David Obey, the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. Thank you, Mr. Obey. Then the bill was passed on to the Ways and Means Committee Chairman Levin, who has brought this tax provision to the bill on a number of occasions, as has Mr. Obey brought the education and first responders piece a number of times as well. And we're here joined by our chair of our policy committee, but also the chair of the Education and Workforce Committee, who's been a fighter for keeping these teachers on the job, Chairman George Miller. He is joined, before you applaud for him, I want to also acknowledge a member of this committee, the chairman of the subcommittee on elementary, secondary, and early childhood education, elementary and secondary education, Chairman Dale Kildee of Michigan. Let's thank Dale and George. Now I'm pleased to introduce Kathy Johnson, who will tell us what this legislation means to her school district in Ohio. Kathy?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Kathy Johnson, a school board member from the Southwestern City School District in Ohio, which educates nearly 21,000 students and is the 6th largest district in the state. In spite of a governor who champions education and a state legislature that worked with him to pass a comprehensive education reform law called the Education Opportunity Act, the economy has forced school districts, including mine, to make budget cuts. In my case, that includes 2 school closures in the last school year and teacher and staff reductions for the current fiscal year. However, the House's passage of the Education Jobs Fund today will enable school districts like Southwestern City Schools to maintain key services that help advance student achievement. For example, my district can benefit from today's legislation as we look to hire teachers and school personnel to implement intervention programs and other reforms for students who need added support to ensure they receive the help that will allow them to be successful. The Education Jobs Fund will help my district maintain the continuity for core instruction that is needed, with appropriate class sizes and an enriched curriculum with support services for reading, math, and the language arts. Other districts are finalizing budgets this month, so assurance of knowing that funding will be available soon at the beginning of the school year to help mitigate layoffs and also reinstate teachers and staff in some communities is of significant importance. Opportunities for students will not be lost. This legislation will also help a number of school districts avoid or reduce the cost of borrowing funds in order to sustain programs and faculty. So on behalf of the Southwestern City School District, the Ohio School Boards Association, and the National School Boards Association, I convey our sincere appreciation to Speaker Pelosi, the members of the House of Representatives, and the United States Senate for your action to help save thousands of jobs for teachers and staff throughout the country. The Education Jobs Fund represents strong support for our students and our schools as a vital investment in the economic recovery and American competitiveness. Thank you very much. And I would now like to turn it over to Lois Welsh from Perth Amboy, New Jersey.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am a school teacher in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. I teach at the high school, and my focus is special education and English language. Thank you, Speaker Pelosi, and all members of the House who took a stand for students and education. For 20 years, I worked in the public school as a secretary in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, and loved my job throughout that time. However, a number of years ago, I made the decision to return to school and gain experience and education I needed to serve the students of my community in a new capacity. After 7 years of attending school at night, working full-time, and raising 3 children, I fulfilled my dream of becoming a high school teacher of special education students and proudly accepted a position at the Perth Amboy High School. Sadly, only after 2 years of teaching in school, along with 86 other teachers in the district, were given pink slips not to return in September. When teachers are laid off, the class sizes grow. Students get no one-on-one attention. Schools go without librarians and school nurses. Important programs are cut. School days and weeks are shortened. To date, I am the only one of 8 teachers in our district who received a pink slip in June that is recalled for September. None of my colleagues in Perth Amboy High School have been so fortunate. For more than 75 of my colleagues, their future is in limbo, And it's not just about them. That is, 75 fewer teachers will be available in the classrooms when school reopens in September. That 75 fewer teachers giving our kids the full fundamental skills they need to complete and succeed in the global community. I am here today to speak for them and the children that we love to teach. The money approved by the House today will allow our district to rehire and bring more of our colleagues back into the classroom where they actually belong. I am thankful to our representatives for passing this bill, which is a shot in the arm for public education across the country. Thank you for putting our children first. I would like to now turn it over to Stella Edwards from Chesterfield, Virginia.
Thank you for allowing me to join you here today. Hello, my name is Stella Edwards. I'm the president of the Chesterfield County Council of PTAs, where I work with nearly 40,000 members and provide training on family engagement and education and advocate for our local school divisions on education reforms to ensure academic success. I have served the Virginia PTA for over 17 years, and I'm also a proud member of the National PTA, the largest volunteer child advocacy organization in this nation. The National PTA was created to meet a profound challenge to better the lives of children. And today, PTA continues to flourish because we have never lost sight of our goal, to change the lives of children across this great nation to be a better place for them to live. My role in PTA is informed by the many other hats I wear from day to day as a mother, a wife, a substitute teacher, a community organizer, and former United States Army officer. Each of these pages in my own personal history has led me to give a better understanding to the unique and the critical role that parents and teachers working together can have on the lives of our children. And that's why I'm here today. Last week, the Senate passed a comprehensive job package that includes $10 billion in funding to prevent the layoffs of approximately 140,000 teachers. Today, I'm proud to stand along with Speaker Pelosi and others that were vital in this effort in order to celebrate passage in the House of Representatives. I commend the members of the House for coming back into session to pass this education funding package and finish their unfinished business, the business of children's education. Our children, my children, your child, and your neighbor's child. And what does this all mean? Over the last 2 years, Chesterfield County Public School Division has laid off approximately 500 teachers and classroom support personnel. This law being signed today means that they and thousands of other teachers around this country will be able to step out of those unemployment lines and back into the classroom where they belong. We see that the National PTA has for a long, long time said that families and teachers and school districts and communities all have a shared responsibility to work together to close the achievement gap that affects so many of our communities. It's simply, very simple really. Children benefit, as we all know, from having engaged families in their lives. In fact, we now know that family involvement is one of the strongest predictors of children's school success, and that families play a vital role in the child's cognitive, their social, and their emotional development. This is from birth through adolescence. And teachers, the very same teachers whose jobs need to be saved, know and understand and continue to emphasize the importance of family engagement in education. I want to thank Congress for protecting these teachers, for protecting the jobs, and protecting our children from overcrowded classrooms, which we all know will negatively affect their learning. I want to thank you again for having me this time. I'll turn it back over to the Speaker. Thank you.